baseball vortex. But I am thrilled to be with you today. I will apologize in advance. I need to leave at about 2 o'clock because I have to get to the Field of Dreams. We have a vintage baseball event tonight. So I don't know if you ever watched vintage baseball, but it's pretty fun. I didn't realize how much the women were involved in vintage baseball back then. You know, they catch the balls with their skirts and big long skirts on. They stand behind home plate, and they don't use a glove in vintage baseball. The girls catch with skirts, but there's a lot more women on the baseball team than there are in current major leagues. It's pretty interesting. So I apologize for those who I will have to leave, but I will stay as long as I can. So I asked Dave if I could come today and talk about the Field of Dreams. It's kind of like a baseball shrine. It's almost like the 31st, major league ballpark, because so many Hall of Famers have played there. There's been a lot of magic that's happened there, and I'll tell you some of those things. So I'm going to go over the history of the Lansing family farm where the film was filmed, how the farm was chosen for the filming, what's happened since the filming in 1988, and then what we're doing with the farm from here and beyond. And I'll tell you a little bit more about myself a little bit later on. So first of all, who has seen the movie? Okay, good. We're in good shape. Okay, so we have already in the crowd. We'll filter in later.
I know what it's about.
Who has been to the Field of Dreams? Okay, so very few. That's good. So let me explain where it is. Obviously, we are right about here, and the Field of Dreams is just a little north, but about 3.5 hours west of here. It's in the town of Dyersville, Iowa, and it is truly the exact what you see on TV is what we get to experience every day. So let me tell you a little bit about the Lansing family farm. The place where this movie was filmed, in the early 1900s, a family by the last name of Lansing came to settle in the U.S. A lot of that area was settled by German immigrants. And Joe Lansing built this famous farmhouse for his family in 1906. Joe's son Laverne and his wife, Bernice, they lived in the farm where Don Lansing, who was the bachelor, I call him the one who said yes, he's the reason that this movie was here. And because of him, all of this has happened. Don and his sister Betty, who still works for us today, they were both born in the house with their siblings. And Don and his family would originally own just the right field in the farmhouse. The other half of this, it's divided by these power lines, was originally owned by the Eamskamp family. So if you heard a little bit about the Field of Dreams back in the 90s, there was some little Hatfields and McCoys going on, these two families feuding over this piece of land that Universal Studios used for this movie. But what happened is in 2007, the Eamskamp family sold it to the Lansing, so now it was, in 2007, it was all owned by Don Lansing and then his wife, Becky, who showed up on the scene about 1995. How it became famous. Oh, yes.
Was Laverne very common for a boy's name at that time?
Yeah, interestingly enough, if you look at the obituaries from around that time, Laverne spelled just like that. It was a very, in fact, Laverne's wife, Bernice, her brother was named Laverne as well. So, yeah, I thought it was odd at first, because I thought, well, it's kind of like a girl's name. It became a girl's name in the 20s and 30s, but, yeah, I guess it's kind of like that. So, in 1987, there was a casting coordinator, Sue Rydell. She's still in the shoot. You'll see a picture of her later. She was a volunteer for the Iowa Film Office, and Universal Studios came to all these film offices in the Midwest. They were looking for a beautiful farm that had a white clapboard, 2-story house, a few red barns, but cornfields where you could carve this iconic baseball field. So she went all over Iowa, taking pictures, back before we had digital, right? So snipping actual pictures and sending them to Universal Studios. And she came upon this place that this was a little bit later. I had to find an earlier photo for you. But this is about what the farm looked like. It was pretty wild and woolly. But she chose it for its charm and its looks. It didn't look too industrial. Because in the movie, if you remember, there were just 2 adults and a child. So Ray Kinsella and Annie Kinsella and Karen, their daughter. So it couldn't look too huge because the little family had to take care of it. So they wanted no metal silos, and they wanted that white clapboard farmhouse. They wanted the sun to set from the front of the house, which we don't know why at the end of the movie, but that was important. I have a side story too about Toyer Brown at the end of the movie. I'll tell you in a little bit. A large red barn. They wanted this long gravel lane. The bridge was kind of a bonus. drive into the Field of Dreams, you go down this long gravel lane, you cross over this quaint little red bridge, it goes over a stream, and then you find yourself in the scene where you see here. But it's interesting, the field was constructed by a former Cubs pitcher. I did not know this until this summer. He just showed up at the farm one day. His name's Chris Crew. And he is actually, not that he likes to be known for this, but he caught for the Cubs in the game where Sandy Koufax pitched his perfect game. So he has even the radio play-by-play by Vin Scully on his phone, you know, to talk about how Chris Crew made it happen for him. But he came in 1988 to construct the fields. I thought it would be cool to pull some of the photos he brought for us. You have to imagine when they were filming it, they were actually filming Chris building the field and made it look like it was Kevin Costner. I don't have a photo of Chris and Kevin together, but they look, they have the same body build and the same look. So when you look at the movie and you see that the scene where Kevin is on the tractor driving, creating the field, that's not Kevin, it's actually this Chris Crew, former Cubs pitcher. So, you know, here they are grading, tearing up all the land. This is, and for those of you who've been there, this is there was a warning track around the original ball field. I again was not aware of that, but this is the warning track, and they had to cut into the cornfield so much to make the ball field level. And afterward, the owners filled it in, and now there's a rise at the back end of center field. So it would have been cool to keep it this way, but the owners didn't. So there's a warning track. This was the little ditch that Chris had dug for drainage. And then you can see pictures here of the high school volunteers laying aside on the Field of Dreams in this the local Catholic high school, back in high school. They had all these kids come out. It was a horrible drought that summer. The corn wouldn't grow. And a little fact is that because they couldn't get the corn to grow, they sprayed it, watered it with water from the fire department. They watered it and watered it and watered it, and all of a sudden it took off. And it was so tall that by the time that Kevin Costner got there, they had to build risers. So when he's listening, he's in the corn, he hears the voice, he's actually standing on 12 by 2s, I think, planks, because he was too short to make it seem like it was the early part of summer. And then later they had to spray the corn because it got too dry and too brown. The grass even wouldn't take, the sod wouldn't take, so they had to spray the grass green for the pictures. You can see here they're constructing the backstop for the mound, and I'm told there is a baseball buried under this leftmost post on third base. We've never done enough to look for it. But yeah.
I think maybe some of the Cubs fans could help out on this, but the game you mentioned, that Sandy Koufax pitched the perfect game.
Yes.
I believe the Cubs pitcher only allowed one hit in that game.
I couldn't tell you the data. All I know was this in 1967, I believe.
Bob Hemsley?
Yeah. So Chris Crew must have called a pretty good game himself.
There's a lot of baseball knowledge in this. There's more than could fill an encyclopedia, I'm sure. Yeah, but he's an interesting guy. He, after he actually got fired from the Cubs because it was perceived that he was hitting on one of the Wrigley daughters. She was talking to him during warm-ups, and he was responding, and he got called to the front office saying he's flirting with one of the Wrigley girls, and so we got him down. Isn't that fun? So after
And yet they hired Harry Carey.
He's
also hitting 125, but that's...
So then he moved to California, started a turf company, and hence he ended up in Iowa. So all the home filming you see in the movie was filmed actually in the farmhouse that stands there today, and it remains pretty much the same. The gym scene on your left is from a town about 5 minutes away from the field, in a town called Farley. And some of those scenes were filmed in Galena. Have you been to Galena? That you've never gone across the Mississippi? Some of the scenes with documented that were filmed in as well. But this is Sue Rydell. This is the gal who actually found the farm and kind of made things happen. But this is her, very, very high tech. And back in the 80s in Iowa, they taped a sign to the front of Gator to teach all of these. These are the people in line to do the final scene of the movie. And so they started, obviously, before it was dark. And they had these people all lined up for miles. And to make it look like they were moving, they just had the cars lined up and they were switching their lights on and off. So it looked like a twinkling effect from the helicopter shot. So what's happened since the 1989 film release? So after filming completed, the Lansing side kept everything going, kept they put a little small hut for souvenirs, and they mainly did that because Don Lansing, a bachelor at the time, he worked at John Deere. He left for work, probably May or June of 1989, right after the release of the movie, and he found people sitting on the bleachers, the wood bleachers, and he said, it's kind of like he thinks this is front yard. Excuse me, what are you doing? Oh, I found this on the map. It's like, how did you find it? I'm in the middle of nowhere. Well, I just thought it would be cool to check it out. So more and more people came. They were taking blades of grass, pieces of rock. They were taking the bases from that field had been stolen so many times. So he said, I need to build a souvenir shop so my stuff stays. So that's how the souvenir shop got started. And then the Ames campsite, the other side, they said, crap, we got to follow this up with a corn bag and we want to make some money. And a huge outcry for Al and Rita for plowing it up. And so they put the field back in the next year and then started their own souvenir stand, hence the war between the two souvenir stands.
Sold a lot of baseballs so that people could play catch.
Yeah. It was called Left and Center, their side of it. But what they did is different from what Don and Becky, the wife who came along in the 1995 era. They wanted to do huge events, and they got Don involved, the left side and the left and center and the right field, to do things like with Upper Deck. Basically, they had Upper Deck traveling events, and so Lisle came out to play. Governor Branstad, who's now governor again in Iowa, Ken Griffey Jr. So many more people play 91 and 92 at big events where MLB players would come. Then they had this rolling road show in 2006. Kevin Costner came back. That was his first time back in the field since the movie. And then he was on to being a rock star. Has anyone seen Kevin Costner's band, Modern West? Okay. He came here into the western suburbs in 2014. So he's got a different brand of music. I think his charisma is a little higher than his musical skill, but he's got an awesome band. And this was the start of that band. They weren't called Modern West back then, but they came in 2006 to play at an event called the Rolling Road Show out of Austin, Texas, where they were taking and showing movies in unique venues all over the U.S. So what was interesting about this is that because it was a left and center, I draw this line because it's like the imaginary line. The Lansings literally strung a string across their property and said, do not cross this line, you'll be arrested. So we had 6,000 people on the left and center side with Kevin Costner and his band playing back in 2006. So in 2007 it was sold, and now the entire farm was owned by one family, by the Lansing family. And Don and Becky, who are now, Don's in his mid-70s, Becky's in her early 60s, they have no heirs and they have no children. And they said they really just want to retire and not have to take care of this big farm and all these people coming over. They had about 65,000 people coming at the time. So they put it up for sale in May 2010. Their asking price was a whopping $5.6 million for 193 acres. You do the math. It's a lot of money per acre, especially for crop ground that's not that great. And you've got a ball field where you're not really raising money for crops, you're just having people come over and play. So I heard that was happening. At the time, my son was playing travel ball, and I said, gosh, wouldn't it be cool if some group, we could somehow get that farm under control and then preserve it, and then use the land to help offset the costs for this land? Because you got to think Don Lansing had no cost basis. His dad didn't charge him to take the farm down to him when he died. And Laverne died. So they had this beautiful farm. It didn't cost that much to keep. They were making a little money at the souvenir shop, but then they go and sell it to a group that says, oh, now we have a huge mortgage to pay for that. Not everything cash flow. So you have to build another business next to it. But with 193 acres, and what you see in the movie, about 12 acres of that is what's in the movie, there's a lot of land left over to either grow crops or do something else. And I'll tell you what we decided to do. So on October 30th, 2011, we announced in the New York Times that our group had a contract to purchase the farm, and they closed on it December 28th, 2012. News went all over the world. I had no idea how much that New York Times story the firestorm it would create. One was fanatics of the movie said, don't touch the farm, don't do anything with it. We said, wait, that's our goal. We want to preserve the farm. We got tweets and things saying, don't start charging, all these do's and don'ts about what to do. And I said, okay, fine. So we took a lot of time to listen to what the audience wanted, what the public wanted. We brought in people to our group. We have Matthew Perry from Friends, the actor, and why is Matthew very interested in Field of Dreams? It's because he's a huge fan of Wade Boggs, who is also one of our owners. So we announced that Wade Boggs was an owner around the same time that we closed on the farm. And Matthew Perry's agent just calls me up one day and says, "Oh, I'm so glad I got you." I'm thinking, you have no idea how flat the organization is. I'm sitting at my kitchen table. She said, "I have a client who wants to invest in your project." I said, "That's great, but I've never talked to anyone from LA before. Who are you?" "Well, my client's Matthew Perry." And I said, "Well, there's this little thing called the Securities and Exchange Commission. I can't just sell him a share in our company without actually talking to him." He said, "Well, he'd really love to talk to Wade Boggs. If he could do that, then he's in." Okay, I think I can make that happen. So I call Wade. I said, "Wade, Matthew Perry from Friends wants to talk to you." He was like, "Are you kidding me? Sure, no problem." So they talked. By the end of the day, we'd done the compliance things, and he was an investor. So now we have this real estate investment called Go the Distance Baseball. We manage the farm. We're developing its future. In 3.5 years since we took it over, we've increased revenues of that little big shop by 42%. But the visitors have gone up by 54%. So we've had a massive increase in how many people come and play in the front yard compared to what Donnie had. We've hosted internationally covered 25th anniversary event. If you've seen the MLB Network special called Field of Dreams 25 Years Later with Bob Costas, that was filmed in 2014 at the farm. We've helped create and host 2 Team of Dreams games in 2013 and 2015 with Hall of Fame players, so that we think 1991, 92, when Upper Deck was there was really nothing. Because Becky, the new wife of Don and Lansing, did not want anything big like that until 2006. When the big event came, then it was quiet again for a long time until our group came over. So our philosophy is that's a public baseball shrine, and it needs to be shared with people, but it needs to be protected because a lot of people feel like it's a baseball holy ground for whatever their reasons are, and I don't want to get into those because it's a whole other talk. But the next one is Sunday, September 4th. And I brought coupons for each of you if you want to come out to Iowa, for those who've never been. It's a great time to come because we have wonderful Hall of Fame players coming. I think I'll see in the next slide. Yeah, okay. So there's a $5 off coupon for you there if you want to grab that. It's next Sunday, September 4th at 7:30 at night. So it's a night game under the lights at the field where we have 12 Hall of Famers. There's some Cubs, there's quite a few Cardinals, Ozzie Smith, Ted Simmons, we have Rangers, we have Pudge Rodriguez, Rafael Palmeiro, Reggie Jackson, Wade, of course, will be there. Wade likes to come and say, "I brought my friends over to my house, since he's an owner." Welcome. And it's a great night. It's a ticketed event though, so you have to get tickets to come, and they also do an autograph show there too, so if you want to participate in that. This was from 2013. I just brought some photos from Doc Wooden was part of the group. Frank Thomas, I'm sure we have a few Sox fans in the room, so you've probably seen him or met him, but if you haven't, if you can imagine 2 of me, seated next to each other, that's like his shoulder width. And the man is just huge, just gargantuan. Bigger than Jose Canseco, which I have a story about later, but Reggie Jackson always comes. Johnny Bench will be there again this year. So it's a great time because you see these guys come out of the corn. They are like little kids because they're having a great time. And then we put a microphone on a couple of the guys and they do banter back and forth. So it's almost like color commentary from the MLB players on the field. So I share this picture with you. That's Jose Canseco in the middle. My daughter is on your left. And this was last fall in the farmhouse. I'm the lucky one who gets to live there. I take care of and manage the house and the farm and make sure the staff keeps the farm looking like it should for the rest of the visitors. So that's why I have to get to Iowa for the vintage game tonight. But the funny story is that Jose Canseco was the first autograph I ever got in my life. I wasn't raised a baseball girl. My dad, we lived an hour southwest of Chicago in a town called Coal City. So it wasn't like going up to a Sox game or even for that a Cub game, farther, was easy for us. So the 3 girls in the family, I was pretty much the one that was closest to being the boy for my dad. And I said, "Dad, I got this free ticket from school for great attendance or a good grade or something." He said, "Would you please take me?" I said, "Oh, sure." Because he hated driving out to the city. Because he was raised at 52nd and Pulliam, and he was in village neighborhoods. But he did, he reluctantly took me, and I said, but if we can we go early for batting practice, I want to get autographs, I want to catch the ball, I want to do everything. So we did, and I have here my ticket from my June 6, 1986 game. It was Jose Canseco's rookie year. So I have a photo of me and him having a little interchange. I'm the big puppy here. I got this man's autograph, and then, you know, last fall he's in my dining room, which was so fun, you know, to have that memory come back. So I showed him, I pulled that photo, and I said, Jose, you're not going to believe this, but you were my first autograph. And then I showed him, he was like, yeah, that's me. He said, where are you? I said, it's the big 80s hair standing in front of you. I was 13 at the time. And I said, can we kind of recreate that photo? I said, no better yet, because my back is to it. Let's just take a photo like this. And so this is the fun and the magic that happens at the Field of Dreams. I'm blessed because my former life, I was a hospital executive. I was the vice president of planning and marketing for the company of Marion Hospital in Evergreen Park. And if you've seen them go through this genesis where they've got a new hospital, and that was my baby. I put together all the plans for it, got it ready to go. I didn't actually construct it because obviously they're approved for that. But once it was all planned and ready to go, I went part-time, decided to open a consulting practice. Then I heard Field of Dreams was for sale, and the rest is history, and that's why I'm here now. So my background is business. I got an MBA from Northwestern. As I said, I was a baseball mom. My son just finished playing travel ball, so I went through that whole cycle of, oh my God, we're spending so much money, so much time at ball fields. How do we make this better? And so I've got this drive to make the travel tournament experience an even better one for families and different players. My background a little bit, I did marketing for Fortune 500 brands. I worked in FDA approvals for pharmaceuticals, and as I mentioned, the healthcare facility. And I authored a little book, but people say, why don't you sell it? I'm like, okay. It was more to get it off my chest, one of those things. So now I have this real estate investment group, and what we're planning to do, as I said, we're planning to put the rest of that land to good use. So we're preserving this beautiful farm, this beautiful movie site. We're going to add 70 acres to what we already control, because I'll show you why we need a little more land to do what we're trying to do. But our goal is to build something called All-Star Ballpark Heaven. And we're building a ballpark for youth baseball and softball tournaments, like you've seen in Cooperstown. Has anyone been in Cooperstown to see their facilities? Okay. So if you've seen Dreams Park, it's on the scale of Dreams Park, not All-Star Village. But what we're going to do is create replica fields, not of Wrigley Field, not of U.S. Cellular Field, but the fields that have died and gone to heaven, so All-Star Ballpark Heaven. So these teams that are fans of these ballparks that, thank you, don't see them anymore, like Forbes Field and Crosley Field and Ebbets Field, are all going to be in Ballpark Heaven. We'll even go so far as to have people dress up like Babe Ruth, like Shoeless Joe, and talk and talk and walk the talk about what baseball was like back then. But my goal, and this is why I love what you say, is to, in between these games, they'll come on Sunday, leave on Saturday for a week-long tournament during the summer, and then 16 weekends, summer and fall. They will not only play games, but they'll be taught things about baseball, like how to keep a box score, how to love the game, and not be focused on this little electronic thing that's in front of them. My goal will be to take those things away from me. I don't want to get around to doing that because I haven't talked to the parents, but my goal is to teach them to fall in love with the game, again, not just the entertainment and all the stuff that we had to throw into the game to keep people coming back. So when you said that, I'm like, oh, I'll talk about that a little bit later. What we're doing though is pulling together this project so that if you see in the fields out here, it's way back up here in this corner that our first 6 fields will be built, and I'll show you the drawing. It's a shovel-ready, unique, centrally located project. Cooper sounds beautiful, but it's really tough for 25%, 30% of the travel ball teams to get to, because they're all around here. And I hope to offer a scholarship program for inner city youth so that kids, with Curtis Granderson's program, there's one called Big League, or Big Baseball, BIG Baseball, that's started by Karan Walker. Get those kids out of the city and teach them about baseball in the middle of the U.S. So All-Star Ballpark Heaven, like I said, will be located in the backfield of the farm there. There's a population of 58 million people within the desired travel ball distance. It's about an 8-hour drive. Families don't like to go more than 8 hours per weekend because it eats up that Monday and Friday. Or if you have a week-long tournament like we do, they much prefer to come to to Iowa than drive 15 hours to Cooperstown. So some people say in the middle of the country there's nobody there. I said there's 58 million people there, and huge baseball cities like Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Louis, Minneapolis, Kansas City, even Denver. You know, the Rockies is a little further west, but we're 25 minutes west of Dubuque, where there's water park, there's casinos, there's lots of things for them to do. It's a lot bigger than Cooperstown. Cooperstown is year-round 1,700 people. Dyersville is 4,000. There's a lot more amenities, and you're really close to a much medium-sized market. So if you don't know anything about the travel ball industry and don't think this is going to work, I'll tell you why it will. The travel ball industry grew 4,000% from 97 to 2007, and then adding to that, more kids were born in 2007 than at the height of the baby boom. So we have more kids, more 10-year-olds running around next year playing the game than ever that could play the game, that could be going off to soccer, to lacrosse, all those things. The competing facilities really don't meet the current demand. Dreams Park itself has a 4,000 team wait list. You have to be grandfathered in to get in. They're not all air conditioned, which is one of the top 5 reasons coaches choose a place. They're burdened by older, more rustic facilities. They don't have turf like we're putting in. And the #1 choice driver is a high-quality playing facility. My son played at All-Star Village in his 12th year, and it rained 2 of the 3 days that we were supposed to have our seeding games. And all of the parents sat at the bar drinking, watching the rain pouring on these dirt fields that were not tarred. And I said, oh my gosh, we spent all this money and we're sitting here drinking it away while these kids aren't playing. So it really wasn't a really good experience. And so families want more fun, they want something more for the kids to do, and they really want a much higher quality experience. It shows you the teams that go, this is the teams that go to Cooperstown, 20.3% live within this market. So, and these coaches don't want to travel more than 8 hours. That's one of their biggest driving factors. So we can capture what Cooperstown currently has in this Midwest market by putting a facility in the middle of the country. As I said, this has happened in Cooperstown. You've seen it since 1996. We've got a nationwide draw because people know the brand of Field of Dreams. They know, oh, I kind of know that place is in Iowa, so you don't have to build completely brand new awareness of it. There's about 37,000 teams within 500 miles of our facility. We can only take 142 a week. So even if we really snake the marketing, we should be able to get at least a really small slice of those. And we already have 100 teams that have said, yes, we want to come from Dominican Republic. Now from Cuba, we've got at SABR in Miami, we made some friends in Cuba. They're like, oh, we'd love to bring our teams there. Well, we'll work on that one. But we've already had teams come out from Doral, Florida, from Alabama. We've got government backing already with a tip from the city. We've already raised over $7 million toward the project. So this is what it looks like. This is the original ball field that you see in the movie, and this is the farmhouse. That's why I was saying that there's all this. This is pretty much what you see, because there's a 30-foot drop between the top of this crest of this hill and where the corn is. So all this land from here back is what we're going to develop into All-Star Ballpark heaven. The additional 70 acres are here. They're really needed to get this road to go in so we don't disturb any of the original Field of Dreams. And the goal is to keep this corn all around here so this all looks the same, but that there's corn around these fields so they get the same feeling of almost like a Field of Dreams field in the backdrop of their ball fields. So 24 fields at the end of the day. Some will be skinned. The architect just drew them all to match as baseball fields. But we'll have lodging on site for the athletes and coaches. We'll have kitchen and dining facilities. This is an umpire hotel. Does anyone umpire anymore? No? We're always looking for better umps, high quality umps. In fact, if anyone knows Scoot CLL, he's a legendary ump from Cooperstown. He hosted a tournament, a training program for us in Iowa, so we can develop more umpires. There's just not a lot of really good high quality umpires. So if you know anyone, let me know. My card site might over there. So this is what it looks like. It's a beautiful place. It's going to be kind of like Disneyland for kids without the commerciality, though. Think of antique, like an antique feeling that brings them back to their true roots of the game versus all the splash and sizzle and the swimming pools and the fish tanks and stuff. It's going to be true pure baseball. Does anyone know Dan Shaver? Since he used to live in Lisle, I don't know if anyone's from out here, but we're pegging Dan to be our general manager. He used to work for Jerry Reinsdorf. He's managed his White Sox training facility out here in the past, but now he works for a Park and Rec department. But he's an Iowa grad, and he has a desire to return to Iowa and bring his new wife out there, start a family there. So he's a younger guy. He's got a ton of energy. He's like Evan. He's like, wants to be a go-getter and make things happen, and so I'm really looking forward to bringing Dan on board. You might know this guy. He's a personal friend. He's come out to Iowa and helped us build the drawings. In fact, what you saw on the map was part of Roger's. His magic and what he'd like to see there. So Roger Bosser is on board. He will be building the fields, which is why they're going to be high quality. There will be quality fields. Turf infield, grass outfield. He's going to use his patent draining system that he put out on Wrigley Field, and obviously if you're a cellular field, he has a side business to build this kind of stuff. And Brandon, his son, is a travel ball player, so he knows the drill and knows what we're doing. Other advisors and stars who have said yes, we'd like to help you when we can, when you're ready to go. Jeremy Ellison is from Iowa. Obviously, a really great pitcher. Chris Sale, the same.
He's in charge of uniforms.
If we won't put any throwback jerseys on him, no, because obviously that's not his taste. But Ron Kittle, if you know Ron, obviously I have a lot of friends in the White Sox, that's why it's heavy White Sox. Wade Boggs, though, is clearly bringing his friends on board. Reggie Jackson, though his manager said he wouldn't invest. He loves what we're doing. That's why he keeps coming back every year. We'll be back in the fall, I think, or next week for the September event. Don Cooper has been advising me along the way, and we just keep looking for players who want to be part of the game and do that with us. So we do have slots open in our ownership group. If you know anybody that would like to do that, I'll throw it out to you. That's an open invitation to ask more and learn more. Don't forget the coupons are on the table for the game next week, and I'm happy to answer any questions or stick around as long as I can when we get some favorite vintage guys.
Yes. I'm trying to get this straight. When you talked about baseball travel, you're talking about teams traveling to places to play in the tournament.
Yes, yes.
Because when I think of baseball travel, I think of all things too, like kids going to baseball camps where they set up in different parts of the country. Also, they have these tours for people that want to see ballparks, and they go and see 20 ballparks in 25 days.
Think about it.
Isn't that all part of the baseball travel industry too? Or?
So the biggest part is teams that travel together, and they pay about $850 per kid or coach to come stay for the week. So that's a week-long camp, I guess you call it, before the tournament. We're from camp in it because I want to teach kids. Most of the places like Cooperstown, the kids just go and then they run them off in between their 2 games for the year or for the day. I know because my son and his dad were at Cooperstown by about Thursday, and Cooperstown, the dads were like, I need a beer, I need to get out of here. Trying to keep 12-year-old boys under control and stuff. So that's why we'll have college counselors who will be on site to help them. We haven't really formulated a good model to bring individual kids together for a team. That might work for our scholarship programs where our city kids don't have a team. But it's funny you mentioned the travel industry because Fenway Sports Management, FSM, is a company that is run out of Boston, obviously. But they do travel things for many different teams, not just the Red Sox. And so we just recently had a conversation about creating a baseball experience where people come to Field Dreams, they go to Fenway, they sit in the seats that Kevin Costner and Terrence Mann, James Earl Jones sat in for the game. So we're talking about that kind of thing right now. Yes?
Not so much for the travel teams, but for the tourists who want to come out and visit the movie site and everything. You've got a really strange, huge tourist pool only 50 miles away, and then you've got gazillions of people in Galena. Are you doing any reach out into there? Because, I mean, you go to Galena about 6 months of the year, you've got packs of Japanese tourists, you have people from all over. I'm not sure exactly why, but it seems, I mean, it's not that, it's less than an hour drive from Galena to Dyersville. So
we do a lot of marketing with the Galena Chamber of Commerce. In fact, that's why we've gone from 65,000 to 100,000 people a year in 3 years, because a lot of those Japanese tourists, they'll come and stay for days. Here's a funny story. I didn't tell you the funny story about look at that comment early on. I'll come back to you. But the Japanese people, they're nuts. In fact, we do this event called Ghost Sunday. That's our last Ghost Sunday is where guys from the movie who played Ghost, or ball players in the movie with Ray Liotta and that, they walk out of the corn, they do kind of a Harlem Globetrotter type show for an hour and a half. And so we promote that every year, and we get about 400 to 1,000 people every Sunday, depending on what the weather's like. But almost without fail, we have people from Japan or Australia at those games, and they just show up. We don't market in Australia, they just show up. And the Japanese people come and stay for 2 or 3 days, and I know when they're staying in Lisle or in town, because they'll literally come back to the farm 2 or 3 days and just sit there and take pictures of people. And one night, I was in the farmhouse by myself, which I do a lot. I'm washing dishes, so you imagine the scene where Amy Madigan's making sandwiches for Karen, she's got the brownie media in that kitchen, and at the sink washing dishes, and all of a sudden, this Japanese man walks up with a huge camera and sticks it literally in my face, like in the window. So the Japanese absolutely love their time there at the field, and we've got a lot of tourists.
I don't even understand why they're in Galena particularly, but.
Well, you know, what I do understand is that Iowa actually attracts quite a few people from Asia because we sell a lot of corn to Asia. So there's quite a bit of business transacted, so maybe while they're in town, I guess in Iowa, they make their trek to, because the Japanese love, more people have seen the movie The Field of Dreams in Japan than they have in the US, because there's 1 more people, but 2 more baseball fans. So that's interesting thing to raise. I'm trying to think back to the story I wanted to tell you though, because there's so many stories of things that have happened since I've gotten there. It was right before this. And it'll probably come to me later, or I'll share it with Dave when we can send it to her. But it's a fun time. Team of Dreams, I highly recommend it. If you've never come to the field, it's a fun time to come. Mike Rosenwasser, I haven't even really gotten into because I know Dave had a time with me. So he is a marketing consultant for us, and he is all about talking about All-Star Ballpark Heaven. In fact, at SABR, which we went to because Mike, he recommended we go to the Miami conference. We met a lot of fans of the movie there, and so he's also a SABR member. I'm going to become one now that we haven't gotten on yet. He can also talk about the project. So if you don't see me again in the meeting, you see Mike, you can always ask him. Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. Let's go with this HDMI part. Who's next? Oh,
Evan?
Next. You don't
Can I actually use your computer?
yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Because I can figure out the jump drive just going into the.
Just put this thing back up. Yeah, well, we've got this going, since it took up a little bit.
Right.
There's a couple.
While they're messing with that, we got a Lorraine, remember Lorraine, who has a
I'm the director of the Morris Public Library. I was going to talk to you afterwards. You said you're from Coal City.
Morris?
I'm from Morris.
Yeah, have you been there all the time?
A couple years. I grew up there, but I've been back for a few years. That's all. Yeah. So I have a book festival. I don't know if you saw my post to the list a couple of weeks ago. Last year we had our very first book festival. I had 13 authors. A lot of people were out of town that week, but I think nobody wants to come to the first one. But everybody sold books. They all said it was really good, especially for the first one. So this year we're having it again, and I've already turned down like 10 people, so I don't have enough chairs, or enough tables and enough tents more than anything. So I have 30-some authors booked, but I have, I have the list we're working on the website, but I have several baseball ones I wanted to mention. I have Gregory Wolf. He has a book about the 1929 Cubs. Tom Rathkamp wrote about the White Sox and Black Sox scandal. Tom DeMichael has a book called Baseball FAQ. John Fryer wrote about an old Chicago baseball. Sherman, if you know Sherman Jenkins. Ted Strong, he was a Negro leader and a Harlem Globetrotter. James Walker about baseball on the radio, baseball on TV. You're James?
Yeah.
Hey. Good, looking forward to
You can
seeing
get rid of the rest of those people.
Okay, yeah, we'll finish the rest of them.
Oh, what day is this?
It's Saturday, October 1st, from 1 to 4. It's in Morris.
I'll post something on the website about it.
Yeah, as soon as we get our website set up,
And I'll just link to it.
I'll even post it on the list with the link. So I'm excited. I mean, we've got Chicago vampire fiction, thank you. Mystery set in a rural setting. Clara Orban wrote a book like the wine guide to Illinois wineries. I told you may want to bring double because like a lot of my relatives will want that book. Kid books, contemporary urban fantasy, mystery. There's a lady from Aurora who's a watercolor artist. A lady, Nancy Hop, wrote a book about her art. A guy who wrote a book on Operation Grey Lord, who I've talked with him before. That'll be pretty good. He'll be there. Dystopian, apocalyptical, inspirational, werewolves. Roadmap of Pain. I'm really excited to bring that guy to Morris because he's pretty out there. But it's going to be fun. We had, you know, it's during the Grundy County Corn Festival, because we wouldn't be able to sustain a book fest just on our own. So I have it during the Corn Fest when there's just a billion people in town. So yeah, last year everybody said they sold books. One had, she has a series of 3 books and she sold out of the first one.
About how many books do people bring?
You know, that was the question everyone asked last year. It's really hard to tell. I don't even want to give an estimate because, you know, some people sold 10, 11 copies.
Okay. So that's kind of on the high end.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, that was last year though. This year we actually have an ad in the program. So we're doing a little more of, we missed the deadline last year because it was the first year we did it for the book, the Corn Fest program. But this year we're in the listing and we purchased a half-page ad. So we're hoping to get a little more play. But where we're located, people walk through our parking lot to get to a park from downtown. So we got a lot of people just passing through last year. But I had a lot of people come up to me and go, Maureen, you're going to do this next year. I hope you do this next year. And I always said, did you buy any books? So if you didn't buy any books, you can't do it. Because I'm not going to have people come and sit in our parking lot for 4 hours for nothing. So everyone brought books. And I mean, I as a librarian, I've been to a ton of author things. And I still love getting books signed by authors. But in my town, hardly ever when do authors ever come? So it's a really big deal for a lot of people to come and talk to an author and get a book signed. So
They're already out there buying deep fat fried Twinkies.
right around, yep. Yeah, there's all the food trucks you could want of like carnival food up and down the street too. And a lot of people bring their families and they go to all the events and stuff.
Reeking of funnel cake.
I just responded to
Yeah.
it because it just sounded like a nice fun outing, you know, on a fall weekend, go down for a day in a place I hadn't been. I mean, it just
Yeah.
sounded like a nice time out.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, so yeah, it was, you know, having gone to a lot of them, it was really cool to actually have my own. It was like Saturday night, I went over to my cousin's first and stuff, and I was like, you just had book fest, you know, how weird is that? Because I've been to so many, but so this year I'm going, yeah, I have to like turn people down because
Great.
I'm like begging and borrowing tents, and we had to buy a few, like the Easy Up tents, and you know, so anyway, so that's some of the books, a lot of the sports, and a good variety, so a little bit for everyone. Like I said, as soon as we got the website up, we'll post a link. I'll send a message out to the whole chapter with a link, so you can see if anybody else is interested. Morris is at about 20 minutes west of Joliet, at Route 80 and 47, about 60 miles southwest of Soldier Field. So I'm the only Lorraine in SABR if you search for my name, or I'm the director of the Morris Library. You can go to morrislibrary.com and find me that way, if anyone has any questions about anything. Oh, and I also have some bags from when we hosted the convention. SABR had some leftover stuff, so since I had a car, they gave it all to me. So it's been in my garage for 2 years.
She also chaired the effort to have the convention in Chicago, so she did all that work.
So the stuff, like the books and everything, were kind of damp from being in my garage. But if anybody wants any bags, you're welcome to. They're kind of like not the highest quality. We did not pick them. But that's kind of cool. Chicago with the SABR logo. One of my friends designed the logo. The logo, real quick, the logo process is really fun because she designed a few of them and we sent them to SABR. And she's a Sox fan, but she was in Omaha. So one of them had a shower from Comiskey and a goat. And they didn't really like that one. We were smiling at her like, what can we get if we can put this logo on it? Because we like the goat in the shower logo. But anyway.
Thank you, Lorraine.
You want to?
Our next speaker.